Is it hard to be fresh if you don't have money, or can you still pull it off?
See, when I ain't had no money, I still had sauce. See, if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another video. You guys are probably confused at looking at that title. They're like, yo, why are you building another Vatera build when we haven't seen any videos of your Vatera build in a while? Well, that's because I haven't been doing any recording, nor have I worked on it in a while. It is street tuned, so she is definitely ripping. For those of you that don't know the car, this Vatera build I put together almost about a year ago now. It was basically about a year ago. It is street tuned. I do want to get on the dyno. I don't want to make any content until I have it on the dyno, because that car, I filmed basically everything that you can think of in the process. I just now need to get a dyno video. So I just need to find some time to get over to Carlos, get her strapped down to the rollers, and see what she's putting out. Because that's like the truth, where a lot of you are even watching the videos, you want to see that thing make 500 horsepower. So it will. I just got to get on the dyno, and we'll make that happen. It'll probably be in a couple weeks, just because I've been kind of booked up with customer cars. Got quite a few cars that I'm going to be knocking out this week. So then after I'm done with these, then we can talk about getting that thing on the dyno. But another customer came to me, and he wanted to do a Vatera build as well. So he brought me a Y7. I actually met this guy through Facebook Marketplace. He purchased a built head off of me, a Y8 head. We're gonna strip this guy down and put the Y8 head on it and make some jams. It's just a stock Y7. You can tell it has a blown head gasket. Customer brought it in. So I'm gonna lift the head, take a look at the block. Normally you want to get it resurfaced, definitely the head when you're dealing with heat, because it can warp the head and things act a little bit different under heat. But we're going to get under there, we're going to inspect it, and then we will call the customer and go from there. So I'm going to start with the teardown. I can see I got a little bit of oil leaking once I put it up on the engine stand. So I'm going to go ahead, drain my fluids, get everything out of it. We're just going to start tearing this guy apart and get to it, see what we're working with. So let's go. Can't say I have ever seen this. I was going to pull this plastic. I thought it was like gasket glue, but it looks like the oil cap broke off and the threads were still in there. So cool, interesting. Now I'm going to go ahead, get the valve cover off, and we're going to get the head off. I got to get the timing belt off, so I will release the tension from the tensioner, get that belt off, and then we'll just go ahead and get her off. Then after that, we'll go ahead and flip her over, take off the oil pan, get the crank out, and then we'll go ahead and slap out those pistons. So just chill with me today, guys. We're just gonna do some chill work, just getting this thing torn down and seeing what we're working with. It's always kind of a mystery, kind of like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. So we're gonna open up some chocolate today and see what we got. So I already went ahead and started tearing stuff out, and I figured I would show you guys how to remove the tensioner off of the timing belt. Also, a good key is if this is your first time you're doing a single cam build or a Honda engine, if you built engines, but this is your first single cam one, get some Ziploc bags so you can mark everything. If you've done it a few times, you can just get a box, throw the screws in there, because you'll pretty much know where everything goes due to the lengths and so forth. But just for simplicity, it is easier just to label everything. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this tensioner. So you want to take this little spring out. Actually, you don't even need to take the spring out to remove tension off of it, but I'm going to take this out anyways. And then this right here is a 14. So you're just going to go ahead and loosen it. Once you loosen it, that tension is going to come right off of it, and you can turn it back a little bit. And that timing belt will come off real easy. So I'll go ahead and set up the camera. That way you guys can see. Alright, so I got the valve cover off. You don't need to remove the valve train on the Y7 head. It looks like everything is exposed. Don't need to take the cam out or the valve train, which is super awesome. So we're just going to go ahead and zip these out. You want to start in the middle and work your way out. You can go to either side when you're taking off. You can use an impact taking it off. You just don't want to use an impact putting it on because you don't know exactly your foot-pounds of torque. So we'll show you guys how to check your torque and everything. That's a little bit later. But anyways, so I'm going to start here in the middle. I'm going to work my way out to each side, and we're going to get this head off. Sweet. So I just went ahead and got them all nice and loose. So it is time to just lift this head up, get it off, and see what we're working with. We are about to open that box of chocolate. So we got the head off. Just looking at the block, looks pretty good. You always do want to send it out to the machine shop if you do have it apart like this. It's better off spending the 100, 200 bucks it costs to get it resurfaced than to run the risk of just slapping it in like that and having issues with head gaskets and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and finish ripping this down. Then I'm going to call the customer, see what he wants to do. So now, since we got the head off, we're going to go ahead and turn the block over and take off that oil pan. Oil pan is off. Next thing we need to go ahead and do is grab a 10mm, get out this oil pickup. Once we get the oil pickup out of the way, then we can go ahead and get the girdle out. Girdle is out of the way. I should have recorded it. I just didn't have anything to set the camera down on, and I didn't like that view from down there. You want to grab a mallet, because once you get those bolts out for the girdle, you're going to have to hit it on both sides. Also, you want a mallet anyways when putting an engine together. Here. When you put an engine together, you definitely want to make sure that you have a mallet, because there's a lot of stuff that you're going to have to tap on. And you don't really want to damage it with like a normal hammer or a sledgehammer for sure, because this metal is kind of not the strongest it's cast. So just get a mallet. You're going to go ahead and hit it on both sides and just wiggle it out, because it's got to get out for the dowels, and it literally pops right out. I'm going to make another video on how to modify that once we go ahead and put the engine together. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get these pistons out. So to get the pistons out, you're going to want to turn the crank a little bit, get these bolts loose. Once you get them loose, you can hit the top of them with the mallet. It'll loosen it from the connecting rod. Will loosen, and you can just slap that piston out with no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real fast. So I want to show you guys a quick and easy little trick to get these out, because you'll notice once you remove these bolts, you got to wiggle this so hard to try to get it loose. But there's a little trick my dad taught me a long time ago to get it out. So what you're gonna want to do is get it loose. Get it so it's pretty tight, so you got like a clearance between the two. And then you're going to grab your mallet, and you're just going to hit on the top of this bolt, and it'll knock it free, and you don't got to worry about sitting there trying to fight it. So this is just a quick and easy little trick. So just get it on the top, that way you have a distance there, mallet, hit it, and you will be good. Sweet. Now you guys can see how it's separate, and the bolt is sitting all the way down. So you got that part out, the dowel out. Now you can just loosen these out, and it is out. It's time to just slide the piston out. This part's real easy. All you're going to do is get underneath there, get your hand under there, and you're just going to push the piston out, and it will just fall right out. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that process on the other three, and we'll get all of it out, then we can move on to the crank. Now that we are pistonless, we can go ahead and get this crank out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to need to unbolt the oil pump on the front, and then we also need to go ahead and remove the rear main seal. So this is going to be 10mm bolts right here. There's 4 of them, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're all 4 right there. And then we have the same, it looks like we got 4 as well right here for the oil pump. So we got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Actually, it looks like we got 5 there and then there. So we're going to go ahead and zip that out. You want to remove this. It's kind of hard with one hand, but we're going to get this off, get this little piece behind it out of the way, and then we can go ahead and slap her off. And that is that. So I just went ahead and removed the rear main seal, and I went ahead and took the oil pump off as well. It looks like there's still Honda Bond on here, so it's probably the original stuff. I'm sure it is. These engines last a long time. Crank still looks good. So I'm just going to call the customer. I'm going to pull it out here in a second, inspect the rest of it. Then I'm going to call the customer and see what he wants to do. See if he wants to send it out to the machine shop, get it resurfaced, and then maybe a crank polish, or if he just wants to send it. So let's see. So I just went ahead and got off the phone with the owner, and he said that he wanted to send it to the machine shop. So we're gonna get the crank nice and polished, and then we're gonna go ahead and get the block resurfaced. This is in Plant City. There's an old guy I've been going to for years out there. So, or before I moved to Colorado and so forth, like as a kid, my dad used to drop off motors to him and stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and take this to him, drop it off, and that's in Plant City. And I'm actually gonna go look at a Ford F-350 7.3 diesel. I need something big to tow all the cars around, be able to tow 2 cars and whatnot. And the other day, I was driving my TSX around and I had to put a G35 transmission in it. And it was just such a pain in the butt to get out. And I was like, you know what, I really, really need a truck. So I'm the type of person, go big or go home. So I definitely need myself a diesel. So cross your fingers. Hopefully in the next video, I'm driving around a big old truck. But anyways, guys, go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Is it hard to be fresh if you don't have money, or can you still pull it off?
See, when I ain't had no money, I still had sauce. See, if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.